This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Casper. Take 100 days to try your obsessively engineered, shockingly priced Casper mattress and take $50 off any size at casper.com/MacVoices with the code MacVoices. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner. MacVoices is in Las Vegas for NAB. I'm once again in the Imagine booth talking to Mark about what's new with Imagine. Mark, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Chuck.
It's always a pleasure. You guys always have something that's really useful for people that shoot video and do a lot of video and help me not lose my video.
Yeah, that's correct. Data integrity is one of the big things we focus on. Also, I think we're going to show you today some of our video-centric apps that take a little bit of the sting out of some workflow issues with these variety of camera formats that you've got to then bring into your editor and put in a usable format.
Great. I'm gonna only call attention first to the Mac Pro on your sitting in front of you, which is just really cool. And I'm going to turn you loose. What do we have new?
All right. Well, I'm going to show you today the rebirth of ProxyMill. This is our 5th iteration. We're going to call it ProxyMill 5. I'll go through some of the high points here in a minute, or some of the specifics here in a minute. But at a very high level, takes all of those variety of formats that you may have, your Panasonics, your Sonys, your Aries, your Reds, your Cinema DNGs, some which play natively on the Mac platform, but a lot which do not. And this app is going to take all of those and very seamlessly, very quickly, very easily take those and put it into a usable format on your Mac.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so first of all, the app is preset driven. The idea here is you will set up a preset, put an output location, and this is probably one of the more powerful features of this application is that you can specify a watch folder. So you put a watch folder in, and it looks for new videos as they come onto the computer. So as you're out in the field, offloading your footage from your camera, if you've got ProxyMill pointed towards that folder, it will automatically see the new files that show up, and without any prompting from you, generate a transcode. So at the end of the day, you're going to have all of your original files transcoded into a usable format without any manual effort on your part. In terms of what it transcodes, again, it's probably easier to tell you what it does not handle than what it does. All of your major formats, it will transcode, as I said before, your Aries, your Sonys, your Panasonics. The only ones we do not currently support are the GoPro Cineform, which we are working on, and we're currently testing our Panasonic VariCam output. Hopefully that'll be in by the time this launches in June. So we're working on that currently. Span and merge, this is a very big feature, especially when you've got clips that are related. So some formats, Sony XDCam EX comes to mind, where you can continue to shoot, but it will output, once a file size hits a certain limitation, it will begin on a new file. So it's possible that you've got one long clip that's broken into several files. What ProxyMill can do is it has the intelligence to realize that those clips are related, and it will stitch all of those together into one continuous output, one continuous file that's outputted, so you don't have to then later on down the line relate those files to one another. It just outputs one continuous file with all of them put together. So you can set the application to look out for those type of clips, and if you do, it'll output the merged file as I've specified. We'll go ahead and look here. We'll go ahead and look at a preset that I can change a little bit. You can set the video specific information. GPU acceleration is big, that's new. That now we've made use of the graphics card to accelerate the processing of all these files. As you may think that, or may imagine, that transcoding is a very, very intensive process, and the GPU can accelerate that quite a bit. Output format, we support the major ones, H.264, MPEG-4, and the various flavors of ProRes, your 16-bit 4444, and your various levels of 422. So you can specify those. Frame rate, you can customize the frame rate to whatever you want. Stick with what it was originally. or you can pick any of the major HD frame rates to output. Dimensions, again, you can scale it, or you can choose any of the major dimensions. And if you want to preserve your ratio, you can do it with letterboxing, cropping, or you can fit to dimensions. So it's very, very customizable how you want to output your video. Your audio, any number of formats, the major formats are there: linear PCM, AAC, Apple lossless. You can specify any number of channels you want to output, as well as the sampling rate. Timecode, this is another thing that's new. Some of the additions we've got here with the timecode. You can customize what frame rate your timecode goes at. You can force drop framing if, depending on your workflow, if you need to have drop frame or non-drop frame timecodes, you can force it to be the drop frame to do that. Default timecode value. So if we can't detect what the timecode should be, you've got some flexibility of what the outputted timecode will be. So if we can't tell what the timecode is, you can say start it at 0, use the file's creation date to generate a timecode, or you can create a custom timecode yourself that every file will start at. So there's more flexibility there. As in the past, you can input or include a QuickTime timecode track with every outputted file. You can insert a timecode overlay, and this will physically burn the timecode into the outputted file, and it'll play back smoothly. You can specify the font color, the box color if you want a background to have it stand out. And we'll move on. Watermarking, again, drop in an image. It'll watermark that image on top of the outputted file. You can include watermark text if you need a message or possibly the name of the file burned into the image. It will do that. And of course, if you're an ARRI user or any of the high-end formats that need color correction, you can load in any of the popular formatted LUTs. And when it does the transcode, it'll bake in the LUT, and you'll have the color correction already built in. I know that sounds like a lot, but once you go through this preset, you set it up one time, you're ready to go. So now I'm ready to load some files into the interface. Again, you can either do watch folder, you can drag and drop straight in. Ready to go, click begin, and it shows a nice progress of the transcode. And again, let's see if I have a track. So you've got a good idea of how it's progressing here, and I'd mentioned the span clips and merge clips. This transcode that I'm doing is actually a series of 3 files that are related, and that's denoted by this little clip up here. So it's doing that stitch that I had talked about. It's going to output one continuous file for the 3 files that are being transcoded right here. So when that's done, this bar will be complete, and you'll get a checkbox up here, and you know you're good to go.
How large is, do you happen to know how large the files are that we're ingesting right now?
The files that we're ingesting right now are about 4 minutes worth of XDCAM, EX. You're probably looking about 500 megs, maybe a little bit more. They're not ultra long, but good enough for a demonstration purpose. Okay. So
almost there.
Let's take a look here. Output volume, it's going to this G drive. All right. So we've got our merge file. It created 3 individual components for those clips. And if we play this, you're going to see it play back again. Very nice. For an H.264, very, very nice picture here. And it's going to show you, you'll see the jump as this file ends and goes on to the next one in the series. But this is a newer feature in this version of ProxyMill. that you can stitch these together and not have to worry about a bunch of individual clips.
And that's really nice for lots of reasons I can think of. Just to put that way, you drop them in everything in the timeline. You don't have to worry about grabbing this clip, grabbing that clip,
Correct.
Especially if it's all one shoot and it's linear.
That is absolutely correct. With all these disjoint files that you may want to relate, this takes a lot of the time out of you manually having to specify, I want this file, and it just transitioned to the next clip in the series, that it did this automatically without any manual input from the user. And that was a big request from many of our users, and we've implemented it in this version.
And so all the settings you just did, you can save as an additional preset, so that's, okay, this is project number 1, this is what I got, this is the way I want it to come in, and then use that again and again. That's correct. Again, in the demonstration earlier, when I showed all the setup of the preset, that takes a little bit of time, 5 minutes, but once it's done, you're good to go. You can just start throwing footage at it, and it just does it automatically without any additional input from you. Very nice, very nice. So this is going to be available, you said, in June? Yeah, this version will be available in June. It's in early stages of beta right now. We're just working out a few of the little details. It'll be out in June. Currently, ProxyMill 4 is on the market, but this is going to be a big step beyond what it currently is able to do. And what will new pricing, upgrade pricing? Do you know yet? $299 is going to remain the price, as far as I'm aware, is going to be the price. So same as it is right now. Upgrade currently is $99, subject to change, but I think we're pretty set at that price. And of course, the website where people can learn more and watch it so they can get it. www.imagineproducts.com. Just like all of our other applications, the new version of ProxyMill will have a demo, so with all of our software, it's try it before you buy it. Excellent. Mark, it's good to see you. All right, good to see you, Chuck. Thanks for coming by. Next year this time? As far as I know, it'll be same time, same place. Right here in the booth. We'll see you then. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. We'll be back with more from NAB in Las Vegas. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices magazine on Flipboard by visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.